Welcome to Aufhören der Podcast. My name is Sophia and I am super happy that you listen to your and mine feminist spiritual business empowerment podcast. When you are looking for the courage to quit and the inspiration to start, this is for you. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Aufhören der Podcast. My boyfriend. I think it's the hardest interview I've ever done. Usually, when I interview people, I have a lot of questions and I write all of them down. And I try to do the same many times.
The sounds of the nature.
Yeah, so we are in Austria right now in a hotel room and I don't know what siren this is, but I tried to write down a lot of questions, but I don't know. So I think I'm going to just improvise. And so the first question I usually, so maybe you say hello also.
Hello, everybody.
So people know that you're actually here and it's not 2 times me talking with my imaginary boyfriend.
I exist.
So the first question I usually ask the people is, can you describe in 3 words how do you feel when you do your job? Sometimes when I ask a photographer, I ask, can you describe 3 words? How do you feel when you take a picture or when you dance or when you sing or something? So maybe I ask you, how is it to be my boyfriend?
How is it to be your boyfriend? It's very gemütlich. It's gemütlich. It's it's nice and it's challenging as well.
Gemütlich, nice and challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I ask you about the challenge later. So what do you like the most about me?
That you are yourself and you're brave to be yourself. Like that you are the way you are.
Okay.
And you're happy with it.
Yeah, mostly.
Even though you're in a constant state of growing and like you're always evolving, but you're content with your evolution most of the times.
And what do you think do you know about me? Because you're my boyfriend, but most of the people don't know it about me because I don't show it. But yeah, what would you like to tell the people? Because you think it's a nice part of me or an important part of me, or
Yeah, I don't know. I only think about your thumb that you hide it when you're in situations of danger. She always hide the thumb under the 4 fingers. Well, what I think I know about you, it's I think it's obvious for everyone to see, but the difference that I spend more time with you, so I can see it more often. And I think that's what I said before. It's that you're a person in constant growth and always trying to be the best of you can be, and evolving to learn a lot. And maybe if I wouldn't be with you, so like for the fact that I spend so many hours with you, I can see that you're always working on yourself and working on learning and evolving in many different categories in your life. And I feel privileged to see that from close by.
Thank you. So, what annoys you about me?
Yeah, let me think. I think it depends on how is the situation and everything. And let me think. Oh yeah, sometimes you question a lot of things all at the same times, and it's yeah, quite, it has it's just there, and it's like the toothpaste story that once the toothpaste is out, you can have to put it back in the inside of the tube again. So like sometimes you question a lot of stuff, and then we have to go through everything before we have the toothpaste spread and in a good place. So yeah, I think that's the thing. Since you question so many things, sometimes we have to really stop and go through all the questions. But that doesn't really annoy me, actually. Like,
why did you say it then?
I don't know, because I had to say something.
So nothing annoys you about me?
Nah. Sometimes when you doubt yourself too much, it's also a bit annoying. But it's all normal, like, and it's normal, yeah. It's just yeah. Cannot think about something now.
Do you want to know what annoys me about you?
Yes, why not? Yeah, maybe this can annoy me, the fact that Sophia Tomei, she really liked to ask questions that she actually wants, if she asks you a question, she actually wants you to ask that question to her. So this is something I know really well about Sophia Tomei.
Yeah, how shall we make the rules of our podcast episode? Do you also want to ask me questions?
Yeah, then I'm even less prepared. But yeah, I start asking you, so what kind of things do I do that annoy you?
What I like about it is that I tell you and then you change it. For example, it's kind of a classic, it's kind of cliche, but that you did not remove the head of the toothbrush. So we have these electric toothbrushes, and when I brush my teeth, I remove this little head to clean everything every time I brush my teeth, and so it can dry, and you didn't do this, so it got a bit moldy, yours, or there was some gross stuff in there, but then, and this annoyed me.
Which it just shows to everyone that's listening how great is our life. But this is the kind of problem that a couple has. You can be very sure that we have really good relationship.
Yeah, and okay, if I have to say something worse, then it's when I am not in a positive state of mind. It's really annoying for me that you are always so positive.
Yeah, well.
And that you are, most of the times you're very neutral and you don't see things in black and white, but you understand all perspectives and you are so peaceful. And when I wanna see that life is bad or that this person sucks and I wanna gossip about life or whoever, then I can mostly not do that with you. Because you say something like, yeah, and everybody's different, and that's the beauty of it all. And it's really nice, but when I cannot ride this wave of peacefulness, it's annoying that you are on it.
Yeah, I understand. Sometimes it's good to break everything around, but I think maybe there was a point in my life where I was too much on that spiral of seeing too many negative things about people, and then I took a very strong decision to being more positive, and it's something I do with an effort, you know. But yeah, like I can say that I'm slightly always afraid of going on that spiral, because some people can go on that spiral and come out, but I think there was one point where I was in this kind of spiral and I was just having a hard time to come out.
When was that point?
It was about 10 years ago.
Ooh.
2008, something like this.
And do you think on the other side of the spiral where you like to be now, do you think there's also a boundary when it leads to being naive? Like, how do you know to not be naive and see the world dreamy, blah, blah, blah? Or do you really think you cannot be positive enough?
No, of course, there's everything, there's a level. And like I said, everything has a level of being positive or negative, but usually for my mind, I can find answers easily or easier being positive than being negative. It just, so I understand the point of naiveness if somebody just says everything's positive and so on. So yeah, it's hard to say, but I think it's maybe because I would say that I like to take action more than, like, when facing a challenge, I'd rather be positive and take an action than being negative and not doing anything. And I think that's what makes the difference for me, that when I'm positive, it's easier and shorter the way to take an action, and when I'm being negative, it's easier to take no action.
To be paralyzed, numb.
Yeah, exactly.
Robust.
Yeah, in a way.
Robustly negative.
Exactly. It's that's a way of protecting yourself as well.
When we started getting to know each other, I think what's remarkable about us is that we're pretty different. And that people ask us sometimes if we are sisters or sister and brother, because we look not so different. I think we come from pretty different, maybe in a way made experiences that led us to similar beliefs or similar values.
Yeah, but coming from other roads, for sure.
Yeah. So, in the beginning, was this intimidating for you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say no. I enjoyed getting to know you better, and I think the only thing it was just another life experience, kind of, and but I didn't feel intimidated. I just felt that it was actually more fun than intimidating.
Yeah. And do you remember a situation where something you found out about me where you thought, oh my god, she's so different?
I just think, there were 1,000 of those things. I just have to remember. I think like all the social media things you like, for example, that you use Instagram on a daily basis, and I never had Instagram. That can be like one way to, just one small tip of the iceberg. But there are many things. And that's the thing, like I think coming from opposite worlds was nice, that we like similar things, like eating well and being concerned about health, but having completely different coming from different sides. So what else did I find? Now I cannot think. Should I ask you, maybe? Because I know you like to receive the questions. So, Sophia, tell me, what did you find intimidating and at our beginning?
A lot. It was a constant left and right between feeling less than you and liking myself so much that I was just happy that I have the chance to get to know you. But then again, oh my god. So for me it was that you traveled so much, that you speak so many languages, that you've seen so many places of the world, that then I thought that you understand the world way better than I do, because you have seen way more. And then of course I felt a bit small town, dumb Sophia. And Yeah, and I think that was the biggest thing. And then, yeah, I've told you this before, but I'm gonna tell it so everyone else can also hear it. Because your job is so different, or your whole is more like a lifestyle job, or I don't know what it is, no?
Mm-hmm.
So I only had a few boxes to put you in, but none of the boxes really fitted. So yeah, I thought it was completely crazy what I do, that I'm dating you, but also it was nice. And yeah, you are really the I think now I don't feel it so much anymore because I got used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I remember how it was the first time I met you, or the first 10 times I met you, you have a really positive, sparkling energy around you. And yeah, I remember at the beginning I was like hypnotized. I thought, wow, whatever he had, I wanted. He's so happy and so kind. The happiest and nicest person I have ever met. And yeah, I'm not so sure, but I think because now around 2 years have passed and we spent quite some time together, I hope that you rubbed off on me a bit.
What do you mean by rubbed off? I rubbed off.
I
now I got it. Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since I didn't know you before, I know you. I cannot tell the difference, but maybe somebody else can tell. But
I think when we walk around, everybody around thinks like, oh my god, who are these two? They shine.
Hopefully. Let's see. Yeah, no, I think like the great thing that we have is that we bring the best out of each other, and that makes like that really sparks good energy. That when we are together, we can we can just try to bring the best out of each other. And I also learned so many things with you, and saw so many different perspectives from the world, that it's a kind of nice compliment that we can find each other in this world and get to understand each other's universe a little bit better. And we have a lot of respect for each other. That's great.
How do you think people can practice respect for each other? How do you do it? How do you respect me?
Yeah, I think we do both. Keeping the respect is a daily practice, because it's so easy to get lost in daily life, small things and challenges, that at one point you just scream at each other once, and when you see that becomes a practice, or that you some couples start to make sarcastic jokes about each other that gets more and more mean, or saying negative things about each other that at the end start to become reality, because words are very powerful, as we got to see this last 2 days. And maybe you could tell this story. The story is funny.
Which story?
How we arrive in this hotel room that we are right now.
Not about the black tape?
Also, but both go together.
So we arrived here in this hotel room 2 days ago, because you're working here. I have to say something else in between. All the time I'm biting my tongue because I don't know if I can say your name.
Of course not.
Okay, so I'm not saying your name. That's even more exciting than for everyone who listens. So we arrived in this hotel room here in Austria, in Kärnten, I think it is, because you're working here for the weekend. And
it's in a small mountain, like you kind of get out of this town and you're going on top of a mountain, so it's a bit isolated.
We took a taxi from the Bahnhof, because we have like 2 small suitcases and a very big one, with your work. And we took a taxi all the way up here to the mountain. It was around 6 o'clock, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wanted to check in because Malteka's employee, he books the hotel, and then usually you just come there and say, oh, now I said your name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, but Malteka is fine.
Ah, okay. So then you come here and say, yeah, I am Malteka, and give me the key. And we Googled the hotel a bit earlier in the day, and I was not in such a good mood. I had back pain, and I felt a bit exhausted from traveling so much. For me it was so much. For you it's maybe not a lot at all. But I am getting into my premenstruational phase, and I need a woman cave. I want to be in one place, and I want to drink a cacao, and I want Palo Santos, and I want to journal, and I want to invite my friend and hug her. And slowly it gets a bit tiring for me to change positions, change places so much. I don't want to take a walk up the hill anymore. I've seen enough nature. I want the cave. To prepare for bleeding. And so I felt a bit exhausted the days before, and our living situation the days was also not so stable. We were two nights in this room, then we changed the room, then we slept in a caravan kind of illegally, then we didn't know where we slept the next day, then we went to a couch surfer and all that. And I was just very much looking forward to be for at least 3 nights in a row in the same hotel. And then we saw that even there's a sauna.
Yeah, it's a wellness.
Yeah, it's a nature hotel.
Yeah, exactly, on the mountain, yeah.
With nice foods, where they have like vegan options and healthy, not so sugary stuff, and I love sauna, and I was just very much looking forward to it also. And then we arrived here, and something went wrong.
No, it didn't went wrong. It was just an operation that never happened to me in the last life that I've been living.
What was this surprise?
It was just the fact that I wasn't in the list to be in the hotel because I wasn't booked in the festival. I thought I was booked in the festival, and at the end I wasn't. So I arrived. Of course, my name wasn't in the list, and then I was like, "How is this happening?" And then they called the organizer here, and then we realized that the organization had changed in the middle of the winter. And I had talked with the other organizer, and and somehow I wasn't in the list. I wasn't programmed in the festival. There was nothing. But then what happened, Sophia?
But then I said, but maybe someone else is not showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someone else is canceling, or we see. And then the woman came here from
the organization,
who has the same name like everyone here who's hosting us or who's taking care of us since we started traveling. It's either Sabine or Sonja or Sandra, like all the women are called like this. And then she said it was already 7 o'clock at night. We were in this nice hotel this close to the sauna, but didn't know if we could stay here or not, or if we have to pay it or whatever. And then Sandra came and said we can stay here one night because another person she has booked missed the flight.
Exactly.
So it happened exactly what they said.
Mm-hmm. To show how powerful is the power of words.
Yeah, and then the next morning she told us more, and then it was exactly really that this other artist did not only miss the flight but did not show up at all, and you could have the spot.
Yeah, exactly.
And the room and the sauna.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, you want?
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then but what's so crazy is that our room is the closest one to the wellness area.
Mm-hmm.
The wellness area is right next to our room.
We have the nature when we look out of the window. It's a nice big room with high ceilings. And everything worked out. So we just basically randomly went to a festival, a small festival in a small town in Austria. And we said, we're here to perform, basically work out. Like the next day, I was in the program. They hadn't printed the program yet. So they print the program with my information. They gave me the performing spots. Sophia and I, we had a nice sauna, and everything really worked out, and it is amazing. Like.
And then yesterday?
Yeah, and then yesterday I had a problem with a prop in my show. And then I just looked at Sophia, showed her, and said, Sophia, later on remind me we have to buy black tape. And then, I don't know, 15 seconds later.
I said, oh, I have black tape at home in Berlin.
Yeah.
And then
15 seconds later came the same woman, the organizer, with a black tape on her hand. Just appear in front of us. And I was like, oh, perfect, thank you. So yeah, all of this to prove that the words are very powerful, and to stay in a good relationship, we tried as much as we can to try to take care of the way we talk to each other, because at the end it's who you're projecting on your partner.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I heard this in this one podcast I like. I think I told you about it. It's not so romantic, but then also very romantic in a way that psychologists, they say it doesn't really matter who you are with, just pick one person and then like pick one mirror and look in the mirror and look at your flaws and find peace with them.
That's why we are so similar, because we picked a really good mirror.
No, but yeah, that. And I can feel this sometimes, that when we have tension, when we have difficulties, I cannot find a fixed word or any of fixed sentences of words to describe it, but I can feel that I'm coming into the same patterns that I also had when there was tension in relationships I had before. And yeah, I think I told you a few days ago, I think what's a big difference is that it worked for me very well. When it hurt, I ran away. Running away sounds harsh, but I backed off. I took space, and yeah, I just thought, he hurt me, he's dumb, so I'm gonna move away from him emotionally or whatever. But with you it's not possible. You don't let me, and that's very nice.
Yeah.
You often insist that I stay emotionally close to you, even when I want to have physical space, or when after some tension, when I need some time for myself or whatever. I don't know how you do this, but it works very well for me.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And shall we maybe share our routines?
Yeah, what's the other name we have? Yeah, routine. And yeah, I think it's routine, no?
Is it routine?
I think it is. We should make us more routine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's routine. Yeah.
We once had a routine that was finding new routines.
Yeah, for 2 days and a half, we were always saying, "Oh man, this should be a weekly routine."
Monthly routine.
Yeah.
A daily routine. So if we would have done all of this, our life would only exist out of routines.
Yes, that's really. Oh man. But there's one routine that we have been doing since the beginning that you came up with. That's quite nice, and that one is worth sharing.
Yeah. I think it's since September 2018 that we do it.
Oh, really? It's gonna be. Oh, the next month is gonna complete 1 year. Nice.
Yeah. Krass.
Yeah.
We've done it a whole year.
Yeah, and without a sweat.
Yeah, krass.
And it works when you're in person with the other person. Like in person with the other person. When you're in person, and also by phone. It works really well. So I will let Sophia explain, because she came up with a concept, or well, she read somewhere or something.
Yeah, I was at a yoga and consciousness festival, and there was a workshop about relationship something, and I'm super interested in relationships because I have a lot myself and I like to take care of them, and therefore I need to know how. Yeah, but there was one about love relationships, and the workshop itself was not so good, but I didn't like it so much. But one of the other audience members, or I don't know if it's audience, but there was someone in the workshop who was a couples therapist for 25 years, and he said something, and I mean everybody could, like, we were having a group conversation kind of, and that man said, here I am a couples therapist since that long time, and there's one thing I want to share with you because it's a really powerful tool and it can really help you. And then I suggested this to Mantika the same day when I came home, and because of the experience I kind of made in my previous relationship, I expected that you would say, no, that's shit, what's this yogi, tralala, consciousness stuff, talking about feelings, I don't want to do it. Or a bit like someone else saying, we talk a lot all the time, why should we talk even more? So I was a bit afraid, and I expected this reaction, but I asked anyways, and this wasn't the reaction I got, because we're still doing it, and now I'm gonna say what it is.
Yes.
So it's kind of, es heißt Dankbarkeitsschaufel auf Deutsch, and it's also kind of like a Zwiegespräch. So what I think is very important about it is that one person is talking and has a talking time where the other person usually is not interrupting but just listening. I think that's important about it. And then there are 3 questions you kind of answer. And we do it once a week, every Sunday, so we have called it the Sunday Talk. And the first question is what I liked about last week, what made me happy, what I enjoyed. The second question you answer is what I regret and what I'm sorry about, what I would have wish I would have made different. And the third thing is that you ask your partner, so what can I do for you so your next week gets really amazing, or a bit better, or really good? How can I serve you next week? And that's really nice. And then everybody says this.
Yeah, and the last one is really nice because it opens a lot of doors. You can ask for a massage, you can ask for help with something you need to be done, you can ask the other person for some random domestic thing, or you can, it's like it really opens a lot of range. And
you often ask me to do something that's actually for myself, that you see that it would be good for me if I would do it. But I think it's a bit of a woman thing, that it's sometimes easier for women to do something for someone else than for ourselves.
Interesting. Yeah, and in general it's just a good way to have like really focus, no? Like really listen to the other person, because communication is really important in a relationship. And it's funny, I told many friends about this, that we do this, especially many friends of mine, they have all kinds of problems with relationships, and I always say, well, for me it really works to do this, but then they usually tell me, oh, but we talk. And I'm like, yeah, of course you guys talk, but it's not the same as talking, you know. It's really one talk, the other listen. Positive things that were not so nice, and the free wish, which can be really, really nice. Like it's we had like a lot of conflict solving situations thanks to the Sunday talk. And like when the person talks, for example, about the negative things, sometimes there are things that you have inside that you didn't even realize that you had it, that it just comes out during that moment. So it's it's quite fun to do it. I really strongly recommend, and it's really simple formula.
Yeah, and for me it's also, I think I feel way safer with you now, but I don't know why, but I think there was a time where I was often scared that something is wrong, that I've done something wrong, that you are disappointed, mad, angry, hurt, that you are backing off because of something that I did, and that our relationship is changing, that you're breaking up with me. Sometimes I have this, and it's not so, it's more subtle. and then the Sunday talk is nice because this time you make sure that once a week you actually share how you feel with your partner, and you get to really understand how your partner feels. And that gives me security when I know how you feel, and that that's the partner, that you are willing to open up and share your feelings with me.
Yeah, it's kind of a reset point. We always reset every Sunday, and we can start once again. And it's it's fun. It's fun to do it, and it's really good feeling. And we did even by phone, and even by phone, there was times of like really great relief after the Sunday talk. And this was really amazing because usually, from my experience, when you talk to a partner by phone, things only get worse if you have a conflict. But with this method, it really did work out quite well.
Yeah, and sometimes when we have a stressful, trouble, tension, then it's harder to do it because of course I think a bit, I don't want to talk to you. Also not the Sunday talk. I think we had like 2 or 3 Sunday talks where I really had to take a deep breath and be like a mad child. Okay, I do it. But but then it's a decision. In exactly then you make the decision if you want to stay close to your partner or not. Exactly, then you have the chance. Yeah, I think it's really cool that we do it. So what do you think? Shall we share what our biggest trouble?
If you want to, why not?
I would feel a bit like a liar if we sit here and say, our relationship is so nice and we do this great tool from a couples therapist, and it would be a bit like, I don't know. So what do you think is our greatest challenge?
I think our greatest challenge is my past relationships, that they are also present right now, because I have a good friendship with my ex-girlfriend, and Sophia, how can I describe what do you feel about it?
Try it, it's interesting for me to hear.
Okay. Yeah, so I think you're a bit insecure about that I still have a good relationship with my ex-girlfriend. And I think that's how I would describe.
So I'm gonna paraphrase you so you can hear what you said. So Manteca thinks that our biggest challenge is that his past relationship is still his present relationship, because with his ex-girlfriend he has a close friendship. Was that what you said?
Yes.
He has a close friendship with his ex-girlfriend, and I am insecure about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So. and that's what we have been working on, maybe for a year now or something, maybe more, maybe less. And it can be sometimes it's an everyday challenge, sometimes an every week challenge, and sometimes an every month challenge. But even if, of course I can feel that I'm also in the most comfortable position because she's my friend, and I think I'm in a bit more comfortable position than you. But I still think it's also could have been a worst. Well, it can always be a worse challenge than this. And I always see us taking small step forwards towards that, and I find great how the communication still works well.
Do you think that I would describe our challenge in the same way that you did?
Of course not, but that's why we are doing an interview together. So how would you describe Sophia?
I would describe that our greatest challenge is, I don't know if insecure, that what you said, that I am insecure about it, is the right word, or if it's the only right word. I find it very confusing. I cannot understand it. And yes, maybe that leads to insecurity, I don't know. But it's not, I think, the kind of, oh, she's jealous insecurity, because I like myself so much.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't wanna, there's nothing about her that I wanna be or wanna have, or I think that's jealousy, when I would be like, she has something I want.
That's true.
So yeah, but it's definitely for me, and I think maybe because we're so different. I have the challenge that I have to accept something that I really cannot understand. So I am not friends with any of my exes. But yeah, it's not about comparing things, and there are some of my past relationships where it hurts me that they're not in my life anymore at all. So I wish I had the chance to try this. So yeah, maybe I am a bit jealous that you have an ex-girlfriend as a friend and I don't have an ex-boyfriend as a friend. Yeah, but I mean, I have to say it like this, maybe it's a bit harsh, but we were getting to know each other for a whole year and I didn't know she existed. And then and I don't know, I've met so many of your friends, I've visited some of your friends in other countries and stayed with them at their homes, and you told me a lot about all kinds of friends you have, but for, I guess it was a year, you have never mentioned her. She was never in the picture. And I was happy and naive, and all of a sudden, slowly, I discovered lie after lie after lie. And yeah, and I think that's for me also a big thing. But I let it go, I promise you. Ich bin frei. Ich lasse das los. But I think it was also a reason for me why there was so much confusion, and honesty as a base is a base of trust for me. And when I get lied to, or I don't know if lie is the right word, we've talked many times, we tried to define what is a lie, or being truthful, or just not sharing the whole picture. But for me, I felt like you lied to me, and I catched you lying without wanting to, because I wasn't searching something, but it was just like meant to be so stupid. The first few times I laughed at you. I couldn't believe that you were so stupid. No? Yeah, and then it's of course harder for me to trust you. And of course I think, when he's lying to me, what is he hiding? Show me. But either there's nothing, or you don't want to show me. Both is okay. Both I can have to accept.
Yeah. For me, I see different, as you know. But you have the right to have your opinion. For me, I saw like I was more, more focused in having our relationships and thinking about my past relationships. And basically, every time I met my ex was mostly with a group of friends. So when I came home, I said, with who you were? Well, with friends. I wouldn't say with a group of friends and my ex-girlfriend. I would feel
but do you remember the first lie I catched you?
No.
We were walking on my street in Berlin, and you mentioned something about a breakfast with a friend around the corner, and I just naively, randomly asked you, so how about that breakfast? And I could smell I could smell your insecurity.
And you see, I mentioned the breakfast and I mentioned that I was with a friend.
No,
If
but at this time, what you told me about your ex-girlfriend is that she lives in Paris.
Yeah, she was
And
living in Paris.
She was living in Paris. No. And then we were walking on the street. I naively asked, so how was the breakfast with a friend? Oh, it was nice. And then I just wanted to be nice and wanted to know more about your day. So I asked, so where was the breakfast? Around the corner from your house. I was like, who was it with? My ex-girlfriend. I was like, excuse me?
So
I thought your ex-girlfriend lives in Paris. Why is she all of a sudden around the corner of my house?
So you see, there was no lie about it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I can make an
If
Instagram.
if I would have said I was with, I don't know, yeah, then I would have lied. I just let you if you knew more.
But
Yeah. Anyway, we know that we disagree
yeah.
on these topics. But
And how do you feel? Do you this kind of lying? That's lying to me, but that's not lying to me. Whatever it is, I said it before. We need to make up a new word. It seems. Let's call it burfling.
Mm-hmm.
This burfling behavior. Because you behave like this towards me, do you wish that I behave like this towards you? Is that how you prefer it? Do you want me to baffle that because you rather just don't want to know things?
No, Sophia, I think me and you, we are two different people, and we need we have two different ways of communicating, and that's fine, and we just have to understand each other.
Yeah, but I'm asking this because this what I don't know who said it, but that how you behave towards others is how you treat others is how you want to be treated yourself.
Yeah, no, but that's I disagree with this sentence. I think like if I would ask you, Sophia, to be like me, or if you would ask me to be like you.
Not with everything, just with the burfling. Shall I burfle with you? Yes or no?
No, because it doesn't come from your character, Sophia.
Yeah.
It's not like
I'm not a burfler.
Yeah, it doesn't come with your personality. You didn't have the same life experience I had, and you didn't need to develop this, and it's fine. And remember, we were getting to know each other, like we're still getting to know each other for, like people can still get to know each other for 10 years if they want. So I didn't know how to communicate with you at that time, and I still think we are doing like really well, and we are progressing, and yeah, every time it's getting better. I believe, like, it's fun to look at the past and say, oh yeah, it was so challenging and so difficult, but I see some progress, and yeah.
It's nice. Thank you that you stay positive in this situation, because sometimes in this situation I'm really like, oh no, I don't want it.
Yeah, well, the challenges, they come, we want them or not, they always come. So it's
yeah, so I feel a bit scared now that I look like a totally insecure, stupid bitch. So can you maybe in this situation now share with all of the listeners, like, I don't know, maybe 3 things in our trouble topic where I impressed you, where you thought I did something great, I said something great, where I behaved better than you thought, or where I showed the true strength of my character.
No, I think that's the thing, Sophia. Our communication, as I always tell you, is the biggest tool we have. And the fact that always when we agree on talking, you decide to talk, that this fight and fly mode, you deactivate it with me. I'm very grateful for that you stand your ground and we talk to each other. This is great, that you keep your you keep your shit together. and that is great, like that we can talk about it. And let me think, something that really impressed me. in this topic. That you also decided to take the challenge to be on this discovery, on this way, that you refuse to see just black and white. You start to see the gray color in the middle, and I think adapting to the situation is what we need to do. That some things we think different and we see different, and we just have to adapt to each other. So I think that's a great thing about you in general, not only on this topic, but you're really able to adapt yourself to different environments and situations and people, like with Cape Verde, for example, and with my whole working environment, and if I can mention the funny names of my colleagues. So like all of this is all new for you, so I think like your level of adaptation and being open for it, it's quite remarkable.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I think we're slowly finished. How do you feel?
Very relaxed and gemütlich.
Mm-hmm. You wanna ask me how I feel?
Yes, that's what I was getting into it. So how do you feel, Sophia Tomé?
I feel a bit all over the place now, because we've talked about this topic, and yeah, it's just a challenge we have. And as always, when I record a podcast, of course I am scared that people will judge me, and people will judge me, but I'm scared that they will be mean in my face and that I will be hurt.
Yeah, but maybe it's gonna be easier like that, If everybody that meets you now on the street asks you, so how is your challenge with the ex-girlfriend of Manteiga? It's gonna become so common that you're gonna have to accept it as a daily thing, and it's gonna be fine.
Everybody knows about it, yeah. Ja, vielleicht. So, yeah, it was nice to have you on the podcast. It was nice to have you as a guest in the show.
Thank you.
Do you think I talked too much?
Yeah, no, I found it really good.
Okay. Would you come again, maybe?
Yes, I have to check my schedule. I'm very busy. But we can try to catch up one of these days.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk to your manager then.
Yes, do that.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks for asking me to come. It was easier than I thought.
You're welcome.